Real Madrid's latest centre-back signing is a social media addiction.
Well, I don't know anything about it. My son has told me it's the young players, everybody looks up to this young man. 20 years of age, he is so cool, so composed, so chilled, as he says.
The biggest club in the world signed a guy who reps memes as his goal celebration. But it's more than that, because this chill guy was one of the hottest transfer prospects of the summer.
We'll begin with Dean Huijsen. There's a £50 million release clause in his contract. He's the subject of huge interest from the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Newcastle United and Tottenham. They've all been meeting with his representatives.
Real Madrid finally copped him. But who the heck is Dean Huijsen? And what does he bring to this Real Madrid team? And why the hell is he always so high? Gotta start with the obvious kicker. Dean Huijsen, he's one of the best young talents in the game right now. Dean Huijsen is the only under-21 centre-back in the world to rank in the 80+ percentile for defensive duels, progressive passes and progressive carries in the 98th, 87th and 82nd percentiles respectively, and he's doing this for Bournemouth. Stunning. No disrespect to the Cherries. I mean, at one point they were in the running for European football, but it's clear that this is a Bournemouth team that has punched well above its weight this season. And the key to that has been their 20-year-old Spanish centre-back revelation. Expanding on this further, and it brings out another stunning fact about Huijsen. Statistically speaking, he's the best young centre-back in the top 5 leagues in Europe right now. Dean Huijsen versus the top 5 under-21 centre-backs in the world right now? He ranks first for the most passes completed, first for the most progressive carries, first for the most progressive actions, first for the most goals, and first for the most headed goals. Think about the likes of Pau Kubasi for Barcelona this season. All that hype around him, and yet there's some chill 20-year-old who is always high, producing crazy numbers in arguably the toughest league in the world. It's not just for Bournemouth too. He played both legs for Spain in the Nations League quarter-finals against the Netherlands, even grabbing an assist in the process. But his performance and the numbers behind that were equally as impressive. 3 key passes, 94 successful passes out of 104. That isn't just hype. The more you read the numbers, then watch him perform, you'd realize Dean Huijsen is an insane talent for the future. And apparently for Los Blancos, that future is now. It's one thing to know how good he is, but it's another thing to be willing to spend 50 million euros on a centre-back who's only 20. So why? Why did Real Madrid decide to spend this much on him? Just before that though, be sure to hit that subscribe button to Futbol Historia down below if you haven't already. Well, for anyone who's followed Real Madrid's season so far, it's easy to see why.
You got to go after Dean Huijsen, number one. The buyout clause for him is reported near, 50 million, I think it's pounds or euros. Doesn't matter what the currency is. You pay the money. This is a guy that's a star in the making, has been excellent for Bournemouth this season, and he plugs the holes and deals with the injuries you have in your back line. And this is a kid that's going to be there for the long haul.
For starters, it's an immediate solution to the defensive crisis Real Madrid has had this season. This, in particular, has been so bad it's almost unimaginable. Every team has to deal with fitness issues as the season progresses, but for Real Madrid, it almost felt like a curse. By mid-November, the right-hand side of that Madrid defense, Dani Carvajal and Eder Militao, had both suffered ACL injuries that ruled them out for the rest of the season. David Alaba also struggled to get consistent game time after battling his injury problems since his return in January. Ferland Mendy hasn't played since mid-March after suffering back-to-back muscle injuries. Antonio Rudiger combined knee surgery with a 6-match ban for his Copa del Rey final meltdown. In the game against Mallorca, Jacobo Ramon made his debut for the club because Aurelien Tchouameni, the midfield who'd been playing as active cover in defense for Los Blancos, also got injured. The idea is clear. Defensively, the injuries the team suffered this season cost them, and Huijsen coming in immediately solves this. But before that, beyond the injuries, there's more. Again, following Real Madrid for the past couple of years now, Dean Huijsen's transfer for the club is part of an existing policy, only with a slight twist. For years, it used to be the Galacticos, signing the best players in the world in their positions. The idea remains with Madrid even to date. The signings of Kylian Mbappe and Trent Alexander-Arnold show this. But about the Dean Huijsen transfer, this signing also shows the different approach Real Madrid is taking now. They're signing the best young players in the world. Jude Bellingham, Arda Güler, Endrick, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, Camavinga. None of these guys had clocked 21 years or more when Real Madrid signed them. At 20, Dean Huijsen fits this description perfectly. He's a signing the club is making in the long term, but he's also a signing the soon-to-be Real Madrid manager wants. It's no news that Xabi Alonso is all set to become the new manager of Real Madrid. All that's left is just the official confirmation. And to this end, in the context of what his team could be and how he'd want his team to play, Huijsen just feels like the perfect fit. Why?
The reason he's so good is that he's proactive rather than reactive, stepping up early to stop attacks before they become dangerous. But what really makes him special is his ability on the ball.
It's this. In a position where most centre-backs are required to be physically strong and able to win duels, it's Huijsen's ability on the ball that makes him stand out. He's got a slender frame and uses that perfectly to his advantage. He's mastered the art of stepping in to intercept rather than having to defend, and when he does get on the ball, he can find passes with either foot. His style is based on a cultured in-possession play. Rather than play safe sideways passes, Huijsen is very proactive on the ball. The stats we mentioned earlier, Huijsen versus under-21 centre-backs in Europe's top 5 leagues, he ranked second for progressive passes, passes to the final third, long passes, and through passes completed. But here's where it gets even better. When he's compared to the actual best in the Premier League, taking away the under-21 category now, Huijsen can hold his own. His 84.7% challenge grade ranks him 7th out of the 96 centre-backs in the position. 8.34 passes completed in the final third per 90 has him 5th out of 96, and 0.72 positional mistakes, the number of times he's made errors leading to a goal or given away possession, comes in at 0.72 per 90, meaning he rarely does. Considering the amount of time he spends on the ball distributing passes, this is amazing. If you're Xabi Alonso, it's the perfect solution. His Bayer Leverkusen team was very fluid, particularly with the centre-backs. They played through the lines, passing from back to front. A big feature of the centre-backs with Alonso at Leverkusen was how comfortable they were driving out with the ball, to in turn draw an opposition midfielder out of position to create space for forwards in central channels for teammates to receive. With a player like Dean Huijsen, this becomes a reality. As we've just mentioned, his passing and ability on the ball does allow him to drive with it, and when he does go forward, he knows a thing or two about scoring goals. Damn, some finish. Actually, in the Premier League, he does know 3. And it's not just the goals, but it's the teams they've come against as well. Tottenham, Man United and Arsenal. 3 of the Premier League's big 6. Talk about being a big game player. Then you think about Xabi Alonso and what he's done with young talent in the past. The likes of Florian Wirtz and Jeremy Frimpong. How his system brought the best out of these players. And Dean Huijsen looks like the next in line to benefit from this. The deal just adds up, especially when you consider that despite the competition and the teams involved in the race to sign him, there was only one choice for Dean Huijsen. Getting the co-sign from Sergio Ramos at 20 is insane. That's his idol too. Dean Huijsen has been quoted as calling Sergio Ramos the best centre-back of all time, and when he was asked in an exclusive about Real Madrid's rumoured interest in him, he responded that it was an honour for his name to be mentioned around a team like Real Madrid. Everything just points out the fact that this is a guy who just wants to play for the club. That's it. See guys, he's gotten more exposure because of the transfer to Real Madrid now. But the truth is, Dean Huijsen has been a talent right from his early days at Juventus. Juventus signed him in 2021 as part of the club's idea of focusing on younger players. If it had all gone according to plan, Huijsen would have been part of the group of players like Kenan Yildiz, Matthias Süle, Samuel Illing Jr. and Enzo Barrenechea, who all played for the Juventus first team. He was promoted to the first team alongside these guys. So good that he made his debut in arguably the most difficult stadium in Italy. Imagine that. Huijsen came on as a sub for Juventus to defend a 1-0 lead at the San Siro. But the then Juventus coach, Maximiliano Allegri, knew the talent and qualities of Huijsen. Chill from the back, it didn't faze him. Going to Roma only increased his profile even more.
Dean Huijsen, penso che tutti sappiamo quello che è. È un ragazzo di 18 anni.
He only played 10 minutes of football in Serie A, but Jose Mourinho was so convinced about his talent that he actually turned him as the best in the world, something Huijsen himself doesn't forget.
Yeah, I think I should always be grateful to him, you know? I think he's saw my potential and he believed in me.
Does that give you a boost? Like, when you think, you know what, he believed in me.
After his loan spell, the idea was for the club to keep him. He'd already impressed and was already seen as one of the brightest talents, not just at the club, but in the country. But in the end, the old lady had to let him go because of a policy. Juventus was in the process of remaking their squad for new coach Thiago Motta. They needed the cash, around the €200 million mark. And to this end, the club decided to sell Dean Huijsen, alongside Enzo Barrenechea and Samuel Illing Jr. for pure profit. But arriving in Bournemouth was off the back of a connection Huijsen had at Roma.
Been appointed the new director of football. He will be the president of football operations at Bournemouth. That will be his title, and also their sister clubs, Lorient.
Thiago Pinto, the former director of AS Roma, who left the club to become the new director of Bournemouth, had seen the potential in Huijsen and was determined to make sure he brought him to the club as well. It worked. Huijsen, under Andoni Iraola, has now become one of the biggest young talents in the game, playing in a Bournemouth side that has allowed him the game time and experience to develop. And now, he's on his way to Real Madrid. Some smooth journey that. Just like his decision to choose Real Madrid over the host of clubs trying to sign him, playing for the Spanish national team was also another decision he chose to make, because he could have been playing for a different country.
Wat was dit voor een avond voor je?
Ja, het is een droom voor mij om voor mijn land uit te komen natuurlijk. En ja, het moest maar zo zijn dat het ook in Nederland was. Dus ja, ik ben gewoon echt heel blij.
You might be surprised to see him speaking Dutch fluently here, given that he plays for Spain, but the history behind his name explains this. Dean Huijsen's parents, Donny Huijsen and Masha Wismula, are Dutch. His dad Donny used to be a former pro, and he moved to Marbella in Spain when he was just 5 years old, and has been raised in Spain up until the period he turned pro, becoming a Spanish citizen in 2024. Making his debut against the Netherlands was a crazy experience for him. Huijsen is set to become one of the biggest stars at Real Madrid. Heck, in the next 5 years it could be a partnership of him and Raul Asensio, lighting up the Bernabeu from defense, like Sergio Ramos and Pepe did all those years back. But before that, there's something we need to clear up about Dean Huijsen first. Why the heck is he always so high?
Do you smoke weed?
Alright, so basically, for everyone watching, my eyes, I have sleepy eyes. I have it from my mom because my mom has sleepy eyes. I'm not high. I'm sorry, I'm not high. We're not allowed to take weed. It's doping control. I'm not high. It's how I was born. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, but having to explain it like that kind of makes it seem suspicious still. We gotta look at the price Madrid got for him. And honestly, it's a steal. It's 50 million euros, which sounds like a fair amount for a 20-year-old. But if we go back just a season, Real Madrid missed out on signing Leny Yoro because they reportedly pulled out the race to sign him after claiming he was too expensive at 62 million euros. The price Man United paid to cop him. Begs the question then, why didn't Real Madrid pay the extra 12 million euros and just sign Huijsen a year back? Well, it's proven quality with Huijsen, who already played for the Spanish national team and was a star at Bournemouth. But the other angle to this is that the Huijsen deal for Real Madrid means it can be paid in installments, meaning Real Madrid will pay the deal in stages until 2027. A fair amount, a win-win for both the player and the club. He gets to achieve his dream of playing for Real Madrid, and Los Blancos in turn don't have to cough out 50 million euros on the go to sign him, and can in turn use that to chase other transfer targets. Just thinking about Leny Yoro again, and it's safe to say the summer transfer window was pretty heated for him at Real Madrid, until a La Fabrica Academy product came in and changed that debate. Click the next video to find out how Raul Asensio ghosted Leny Yoro.